So, last time we explored more of the Linear mining facility, aka the Desert Temple as I'm calling it. We got the Gust Bellows, and we fought a weird thing in that last one. And we were also talking about Breath of the Wild. Mainly I was talking about it, and specifically talking about how I think it would be cool if there were more, like, actual items and stuff. Like, because obviously they have the shrines, and those are essentially just, like, a lot of mini dungeons. But obviously you don't get items in there, because there's 120 of them. Instead, the first 4 each essentially give you an item, but that's already at, like, the straight beginning of the game. But one thing that, like, I wish they kind of would be, like certain areas, like, I can't even imagine where they would be. Like obviously I don't think they would just be, normal shrines. I feel like they would have to be essentially, like, actual dungeons. I mean, I could imagine it, since the Divine Beasts were essentially kind of what, like, actual dungeons could be in. So honestly, the only thing I could like, imagine for would have been, those God, I can't focus on two things. The only thing I could imagine for would actually be more legitimate dungeon type things, just kind of hidden around the land. I definitely think they wouldn't be, like, they wouldn't at all be required. Like, you could just go through it, like, speedrun style, just no clothes, only getting, like, half the runes. No, they get all of them, but, like, like, you're just only getting the runes and just going straight to Ganon and fighting with a stick. But, like, all these items would essentially just be, like, easier overworld progression, along with, being able to get more shrines. Like, say there's, like, shrines that are on top of ledges that are, too tall to climb, or just in an area where it's, like, always raining, so it's impossible to climb. And so essentially you need, like a claw shot item that you could use to, like, get on the trees nearby to grapple up to get to it. So it would essentially just be oh, you want to 100% complete the game? Well, you can get all these other stuff to actually, get all the shrines. Like, just very, very simple stuff like that. Yeah, like, I also talked about how it would be cool if they were, like, rune style. I don't know why I jumped there again. I keep thinking I could make it. I've just talked about how, like, if they weren't actual, like, specifically for the Wild, like in this, if they weren't actual items, like, instead, it was like you download a rune that's like a claw shot rune or whatever, and when you use it, it, like, summons, like, a blue energy claw shot that you can use. And I thought that would, like, be really cool. Like, essentially those type of things. I mean, 'cause you already got bombs, which are normally an item, and they just have, like, blue energy bombs. So, like, things like those, and, they do have, like, like, actual fire, ice, and, lightning rods, like, as just weapons. So you probably wouldn't have any of those. But I think, like, I would actually have to, like, sit down and think, like, what else could they do, and what would they even be used for? Because, like, you could essentially have, like, 2 down for claw shots. Because, like, essentially you could have, like, the normal claw shot, and then you could have, like, a double claw shot upgrade that could definitely be used. So you already got, like, 2 items down for there. Like, boomerangs are already, items, but they don't carry things. Like, there are a bunch of weapons that are boomerangs, so, like, maybe we wouldn't include that. Though they, again, like, with that, they don't carry things. And, I mean, heck, you could even bring in, a Skyward Sword into it and have, like, as we're about to use now, the beetle. And just like that, just like you can upgrade that claw shot, you could, upgrade the beetle, just like this one does, for, being able to carry things, being able to take more hits, and being able to temporarily speed up. And it could also, you know, unlike the claw shots probably would have, this one could also have like a cooldown for like the other runes, like after you launch it, like something like that. I don't know, I'm getting myself excited for something that isn't happening. Look at these items. It's like Bugnet would be interesting, and Gust Bellows would not either. So neither of those would be good weapons. And bows don't count because their bows is just, you know, normal weapons. I'll look through, or in my head, look through. See, like all the items in Ocarina of Time. You start with slingshot, bombs, the boomerang. Then you become an adult. So then you have become an adult. So then the first thing you get is the hook shot. Then you get the bow. Then you get the Megaton hammer. There are like sledgehammer like weapons and all that, but there aren't like any like slam down weapons. They're only like you know, smash sideways, like with all those hammers. But then you get the long shot. Ooh, then they don't hover boots. I think they call them the hover boots because the Pegasus boots are something else, but also something that I just thought of. And then what's the Spirit Temple's a mirror shield. Okay, so essentially all the ones from Ocarina of Time couldn't be used. Though I did get interested about not so much about like the hover boots, but more the Pegasus boots, because those are one of my favorite items. Like not necessarily because I like using it, but more because of like in concept alone, really. Just because I really like, you know, because again, it could technically kind of fit into like any real fantasy universe, just like the Rock's feather. I really like that because rocks are like a really cool mythological creature. I just imagine just a feather of one that could just, I mean, obviously it would like be able to shrink in size if you're not like a giant. Okay, so wait. Oh, I'm just a fool. I just didn't go the direction I was supposed to before. I don't know if I can get back. Oh, I'll try. Don't need to beetle. I gotta try. But essentially, like, I don't know, a Pegasus boots item would actually be pretty neat since it would essentially just be like a speed booster. Like it wouldn't make too much sense for that one to actually be a rune. Like it could be, though I can't imagine it looking very cool. And honestly, like technically you have, you know, like if you were to imagine the Sheikah energy, like obviously there's the blue, but there's also like the orange color that technically isn't used as like a main thing. It's mainly just shown as like, hey, this is inactive. So whenever I think of like the energy, I think of both the blue and the orange type. And like sometimes imagine like, oh, what if it was like, what if like I don't know, like the claw shot used like the orange instead of the blue. And like honestly, if I like ever mentioned Pegasus boots, because normally they're like a golden, or depending on it, it's just like a normal brown boot with like the little gold wings, or sometimes they're just entirely gold boots or gold colored, more like. And if we look at like another cool interpretation that I liked, in Hyrule Warriors, you know, Linkle had like the Pegasus boots as her, as one of the weapons. I don't like the character, but I really like the Pegasus boots as like a weapon, and those were like really like tall boots, which I do think kind of fit my stuff now. So I could kind of imagine, like even if there was like blue and not orange, obviously, like kind of having a Pegasus boot rune where they just like appear on you and you get like a speed boost essentially while you're using them. I don't know if it, like how exactly it would work, because it probably wouldn't be used for like too much, except for like, I don't know, maybe trying to run, like maybe like for a shrine specifically, like, oh, you gotta click a switch, and then after you get the switch, like a door is like opened on like the opposite side of a cave or something, and it's like, oh, you better run to get the door, but you can't go there fast enough unless you use these boots. But I couldn't really imagine that like much else uses other than, gee, I sure am going slow, I wish I could go faster. And these would probably also have a cooldown after, so you just don't like, you know, roll around at the speed of sound. Don't know why I didn't open that before. Maybe I wasn't in here before. No, I'm pretty sure I was. What the heck was I doing? The Pegasus boots are a really cool item. Though I do think they work better as an item itself rather than a rune. So I don't know if I would, like, you know, pick that for something worth a while. Same with like the Rock's Feather, because at least to me its appeal is that it's an item rather than an ability. I mean, Claw Shot to an extent too, but like I can kind of get that being like a utility that you would probably use, whereas like boots that make you go fast seems more of a magical item. Ooh, a chest. So let's see. So that was all of the Ocarina of Time. I don't know, let's go through my favorite Link's Awakening. So you get the Rock Feather first, we're not including that. Then you get the Power Bracelet. I actually haven't thought of strength boosting items. I mean, also mainly because, again, just like the other two, I feel like their appeal is in them being an item rather than a rune and a utility, though it does make a bit sense. So then you get the Pegasus boots. Then you get the flippers, which again is also something I mentioned, but would probably be more of an item rather than a rune for Breath of the Wild, getting, you know, like being able to explore underwater. Then you get the hook shot. Then you get the level 2 power bracelet. And then you get the mirror shield, and finally the magic wand or fire rod. Yeah, just like Ocarina of Time, most of these wouldn't make sense. On A Link to the Past, it probably has good items as well. I do have to play it. Or play through the entire thing. Because I know that one, you know, it has Pegasus boots, it has hammer. Oh, one that I didn't even mention, Link Between Worlds. Because that has some cool weapons. And I do enjoy the system they essentially had for it. Which was really neat. Though most of those probably would be used. And the Twilight Princess, actually now that I think about it, also has really good contenders. Because most of its items are obviously like very unique. Oh, no, I didn't need to do that. Like, you know, it has the ball and chain, it has the spinner, again, has the claw shot and double claw shot. It has, that might be it. Well, it has the iron boots. Those are, I don't know if those are like a cool item. Let's see, go through the game. Oh, Gale Boomerang. I love the Gale Boomerang. Just because, like, obviously you've seen the Boomerang in like 1,000 different, like, Zelda games, but you never really see a magic Boomerang, or you have seen a magic Boomerang, but those are just ones that you control, as opposed to ones that are just outright magic. And, you know, like, with the power of the wind. Like I'm using right now. Like, I thought that was really cool when I played through it. Wait, was I just there? Oh, that was a separate one. So let's see. So going through it is Gale Boomerang first. Then you get the bow, I think. Then the hook shot. Then you get the spinner. spinner. Then... well, then I think you get the ball and chain. Oh yeah, no, then you get the Dominion Rod, which is also a very cool one, which I could see as a rune. And then you get the double claw shot. So or Twilight Princess actually has like really good ones that I could imagine. Like I could imagine a Wrecking Ball one because it doesn't. I mean, obviously it isn't a weapon in Breath of the Wild, and I couldn't see it as being a separate like weapon in class or anything. And it would probably make sense to just be like a really strong weapon that you can just use sometimes. What is this room? Is it oh, it's a new one I haven't been. Well, actually, okay, before this goes on too long, it's, oh, I'm dying. I can't process words. We made it through more of the temple, had a lot of cool conversations about weapons, or rather, I just spouted on about them. But until next time, while we explore more of the temple, peace out.